All right, everyone, we are here with a very special guest. We are joined by somebody we have been watching in our homes for a very long time, the best in the game, Andy Cohen.
Hey, ladies. Hey, chicks.
Hey, Andy. We are so excited that you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming in.
I'm so excited to be here.
Like I said, we've said it a million times, but we'll keep saying it. You know, we consume so much. We love Bravo. We watch your shows. We watch What Happens Live. We love everything that you do. You have your new book out, which we've read and loved.
Thank you for reading it.
Everything
the Daddy Diaries.
Yes,
right
love
here.
Consuming.
Appreciate it.
Well, it's just even on what you could consider the slower days.
Yes.
It's fascinating. I
Thank
think
you.
like, you know, you're like just the king of the West Village. And there's certain restaurants you throw in here that I'm like, he loves his like 5 or 6 spots.
I know. I'm a creature of habit. And so I'm in the Morandi via Corona.
Yes.
You know,
All the great
Corner
spots
Bistro.
that we can't get reservations to because you're taking them all.
Sorry about that. Thank you. The book is a year in my life, starting the day after I put Mayor de Blasio on blast on New Year's Eve with Anderson Cooper. And it really takes you behind the scenes of Watch What Happens Live and everything going on with the Bravo. And people ask me all the time, you know, what are your, interactions with housewives and when do they text you? And so this is really showing you what it is, what happens. And then the overlay is my time as a dad.
Yeah.
So that is, I've written 2 diaries before that are really name droppy also and fun and funny. And that's what this is too, but with the 2 kids and a single dad thrown in.
Yeah, I think you live such a fascinating life, and I think other people do as well, obviously. But you don't know the ins and outs every day. Obviously, we see the post on Dumois of who you went out to dinner with, but we're not getting it straight from you.
You don't know what we talked about, who we gossiped about,
Exactly.
who we ran into.
And in the intro, you kind of tease like, am I doing this again where I'm talking about like, are people gonna get mad at me? Like,
I know.
what's the line? Like, where do you say, oh, this will be okay and this won't?
Well, I'm figuring it out right now because so now I've got Tamra texting me, who I said that we've had moments of sexual chemistry. And so she's sending me all these really funny texts. And I'm going to LA in a day, and I know I'm going to see her and we're going to have to talk about it. And I was thinking, why did I write that in there? And I think, well, she's shown me her boobs a couple times. So then, it's been presented to me. And then Teresa was just on Watch What Happens Live, and she's like, I need to talk to you about what's in the book. I had someone text me who I went on a date with last fall who wanted to talk to me about what I wrote in there about something that happened on the date. So now is kind of the reckoning for me where I'm figuring out, I'm waiting. I sent Sarah Jessica a copy of the book. I haven't heard back from her yet. John Hickey, who's an actor who's a good friend of mine, who's in the book a lot.
Yeah.
And he and I are bickering throughout the book. And so I just got his feedback. So now is my reckoning where I'm getting everyone's response.
Nobody gets it before it comes out.
Yes. Some people did get it. I sent it to Lisa Rinna the week before it came out. I sent it to Kelly Ripa got it before it came out. Sarah Jessica got it before it came out, but she's so busy she hasn't gotten to it yet. So yes, some people do get it beforehand.
Now, I think that it's so great because, you have people on your show and they open up to you and you kind of dig into their life.
Yes.
At least you are giving something of your life as well.
Well,
you're giving and taking.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I feel like if I'm going to do this, I have to really do it. And I can't be the asshole that expects other people to answer my prying questions, but I don't deliver. So I'm certainly more vulnerable than I ever am on television or radio in this book about being a dad and insecurities that I have and about insecurities in life and things, concerns that I have about I will say things on the show, and then that night I'll text my executive producer and say, was that really pervy what I said? There are a lot of moments like that. Yes.
So you mentioned that you started the book with New Year's Eve, and you also end the book with New Year's Eve.
Exactly.
Now, this New Year's Eve was a bit different because you guys weren't drinking, and people were upset about that as much. because people loved that you were having a great time and having so much fun. And I think a little wrinkle from this year as well was like, oh, are we having a little beef between hosts? Something came up between you and Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah, Seacrest was coming after me before New Year's. First of all, he said, well, I think it's a good idea that they don't drink, which was an opinion shared by no one, I might add.
Besides him.
Right. Yeah, no, he picked a couple fights with me towards the end of the year. Yeah, and that's another thing that happens in the book. And if I was writing one this year, I would include my public feud with Howie Mandel.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I seem to always be in a public feud with someone from Snooki.
Keeps you alive.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Keeps me going. It's
what happened with
content.
Snooki? I got into a fight with the Jersey Shore cast too.
Snooki, in the book, I guess I said offhandedly somewhere that I didn't think it would be, I couldn't see her on the Housewives of Jersey
And
just because it seems like
she
two
always
different
wanted
shows.
to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know, but then she it just becomes a war of the words.
Well, I also think with New Year's Eve, people love seeing you and Anderson together are so funny, and people are so used to seeing Anderson in such a cleaned up, tight way. You know, he's
they
the
like
news.
to see me get him drunk, and he's such a
getting him a
lightweight.
little drunk, he starts giggling, he's laughing at everything. It's great. It's great TV. So I don't know what
I'm hoping for the best.
was
I'm
thinking.
hoping for the best.
What's the plan for this year?
Well, I'm hoping for the best.
Yeah,
Maybe you can meet somewhere in the middle.
I might just have to go rogue. If they say no, I mean, what are they going to do? Pull me off?
No.
Yes.
They know you're bringing in the viewers.
Well, I think Anderson and I together
we can
are
be
a great
cocky
duo.
for you.
Thank you. I think we're a great duo.
Yes, you are.
You absolutely are.
Now you are, we see in your book that you're a busy man, but you are probably even busier than ever right now with everything that's going on. And not only just Vanderpump, but we also have Real Housewives of New Jersey drama that is kind of just like flying under the radar because of everything that's happening with
I do think it
Right.
would be so much bigger if the Vanderpump finale, like going Real Housewives of New Jersey finale into Vanderpump finale, is such back-to-back chaos.
I know,
but the
it's
Vanderpump
true.
is just overshooting it when the New Jersey stuff is crazy.
What did you ladies think about the Vanderpump finale? It
My
delivered.
jaw was on the floor.
Yeah.
She has a screw loose. Like something is happening. The scene of her and Tom Sandoval in her apartment, I could not believe how she was behaving.
I actually didn't speak for an hour after watching. I watched it with my boyfriend and I was like, I just need to digest this. Like, this is actually insane. Now, what I found to be the most shocking, and I'm sure you found it shocking as well, and I have a question about Lisa Vanderpump, right? Because you're watching the finale and you are like, holy shit, I am so sickened by everything that's happening. They both belong in a home. Like that was my takeaway with them. And then you see Lisa have sort of some compassion for Tom. Yeah. Now, why do you think that is?
I think Lisa is able to see this from a aerial view and not get kind of. I think she's just able to she is not involved in the same way that they all are as a group of friends. She is, and she's also in business with Tom. Yep. And I think she has a very British way of looking at it. And, and I think that explains a lot, by the way, the kind of British sensibility. Yeah. And I think her position from the beginning has been, listen, they had an affair. They didn't kill, and no one got killed, whatever. It's a horrible thing. And she does have great compassion for Ariana. I know that she does. We've spoken about it. But I think that and I know that she's against kind of the mob mentality coming against someone. So I just think that's what her POV is.
Yeah. I almost think she is like a mother figure to the Toms. Yeah. And, your mom, no matter what you do.
She has to love everybody.
Yeah. Right.
And that's the other thing. I mean, Tom and I are both from St. Louis. We go back. People from St. Louis kind of bond with each other. So, I look at him and I'm like, you did something really horrible to someone so lovely. I don't understand how he could do it. I also saw him at the reunion and he was shaking the whole time. He was shaking during our one-on-one. He came across to me as a very broken human being. So, which many would say, well, good, he should be, but he is, so everyone knows.
And it's a hard focus too, because from just the finale, I don't know if it was still just he was uncomfortable speaking directly with Ariana because of course she was so upset.
Right.
But he came off being so
Not
much
good.
more remorseful to Schwartz and
Right,
to Lisa
yes,
than to
yes.
Ariana. Like he walked into
Absolutely.
that room with Tom Schwartz and hugged him. Was, I'm so sorry, man. I'm
Yes,
so sorry.
yes.
Lisa, he had a breakdown, but with Ariana, it didn't feel like he really like. I would think with her, that's the one you break down crying
Very
and
good.
apologizing
And
to.
he said, if she just followed me when I said I was going to Schwartz, and I actually was like, wow, Schwartz finally said something to like stand up for a little bit, where he
Right.
was like, you can't put that on Ariana.
yeah, like it's not her
oh,
job to follow you
yeah,
thinking
like-
that you're having an affair.
Right, it's not her job to find out
Right, yes.
that. It was, I
Yeah,
didn't
that was a crazy
think,
line. If she just followed me,
Right.
she would know I wasn't where I was going.
And they've all have spoken on many podcasts at this point, so you thought that you got all the information that you could get.
No.
I didn't think it was going to get worse. And then I watched the finale and I was like, oh my gosh, they are going to be even more hated than they were
Wait until
before.
you see the reunion. Regarding Raquel, there's a thought that I've been having recently, which is that think of her journey on the show. She was barely on the show. Was it maybe 2 seasons ago or more? She was having a puppy party to kind of, that was her first kind of event that she was having on the show. She was very upset because none of the girls wanted to come. They're like, we're not coming to your effing puppy party.
Yeah.
And think about this. Now it is 2022, which is when the show was shot. She's now somehow got the attention of the two principals on the show, two of the principals, Sandoval and Schwartz, who are both paying her all this attention. And she's got Katie and Lala and Ariana, and Sheena, who are all kind of, she's in the mix in a very big way. So is there a part of you that could consider that maybe she became intoxicated by now being a principal on this show and being considered as such? She's, it's not like, are we miking Raquel? It's, oh, here's Raquel, let's all pay attention.
Yeah.
She got a lot of attention. Maybe she became intoxicated by being such a part of the show.
Right.
And maybe that made her lose her sense of herself.
Yeah, and I think what Ariana said in the finale kind of goes along with that.
Yeah,
where
I
she
think
said
Katie and Lala
she's
agreed with that
looking
too.
for identification in a man.
Yeah.
And I feel like what you just said, where she's becoming intoxicated by this group, she's looking for a sense of identity within the group and being
And
a
within
fan
the
of the
show,
show.
I think
she was being
show-
a
the
fan
whole
of the
fan of the show to being
people are paying attention to her. People are feeling bad for her because of James.
Yes.
And when we had her and Sheena on, we were talking to them, and we felt bad for Raquel. We were like, wow, she's so
preface
timid.
our whole episode with like, take it easy on her.
Like,
I think this is a lot for her because she was like shaking
Right.
when
She's
she was
clearly
speaking
going
to
through
us.
stuff. She went stuff with James, and I was like, wow, that's so messed up that James cheated on you like that.
Right.
Meanwhile, she's sitting there holding in this secret on her shoulders that, like, I just cannot imagine how you can live day to day looking
Now,
Ariana
you have a
in the
lightning
face.
bolt tattoo on your wrist. Are
I know,
you
well,
in
I know, we
lightning
both
bolt?
do.
Matching.
You all have
I know.
that?
We got this in 2000.
This is our thing. Yes,
it's-
unfortunately.
It is unfortunate, and people have told us we
Are
need
you
to
in a
get rid of
quad
them.
with Tom and Raquel?
People have
know.
said we need to get rid of them, but I'm not Pete Davidson.
all
I
good.
cannot. I'm not paying.
No,
for
we
it.
would like our
I
we
love
would
the
like
lightning
our-
bolt. It's also
yes.
kind of a deadhead symbol
Totally.
too. So
Yeah.
We would like
I'm
our
down
Friday
with it.
Friday energy is really like our vibe. And
Yes.
we started our show by saying we would put episodes out on Mondays that we recorded on Friday. We'd say we're giving you that Friday energy on a Monday.
I love it.
So we took Friday energy, the lightning bolt
Yep.
matched, and then we got matching tattoos.
Years ago, and now Sandoval and Raquel have
And
taken
then they
it
ruined it for us.
Yes.
Scumbags.
It's okay. Take it back. Own it.
For New Jersey, though, you just had Teresa on Watch What Happens Live.
Yeah.
The finale has aired. Everyone keeps alluding to the reunion as kind of just sad, sort of.
Well, I mean, it was very combative.
Yeah.
I showed my team at Watch What Happens Live the super tease for the reunion last night before the show, and their mouths were on the floor. It's super dramatic because there's a lot about Louis that comes out at the reunion, and there's a big conversation about this Bo Dietl private investigator. Does he have information on everyone? And he was dodging it at Watch What Happens Live last night and said, no, he just made it up. It came out of thin air.
And Teresa said she could defend it in the game.
Contradicted herself.
Yes.
And I'm here to tell you that that was not his story at the reunion. It was far different, and we really got into it, and it's a major point of contention.
Now we have
I get
always
the heebie-jeebies from him.
We have always raised our eyebrows at Louis, and I think one of the biggest things was this season, which we thought was hysterical, was when Louis looked at Joe Gorga
The pajamas.
and said, "I wear your father's pajamas."
And he doubled down on that too.
Doubled down on that on Watch What Happens Live.
He said it was endearing.
But then at the reunion said something different. That was a pair of wrap pajamas. He never actually wore them.
Incredibly creepy.
Sometimes I just think that they don't get their story straight. That's just my personal opinion. And sometimes like they're looking at each other like, wait, we didn't say we were going to say that.
Like
now
Tom
you
and Tom.
said it. And
Right.
yeah, exactly. Now, Teresa and Melissa, the finale ended in such a dramatic way, and we know they didn't go to the wedding. I know this is the question you're asking everybody, but do you think they can come back from this, or do they just have to?
I kind of think they're done.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have some thoughts about what I think may be coming up for them that I won't share here, but and you know, we will see.
Do you believe the rumor about Melissa?
I don't. They all seem to really discount it, including Teresa, by the way.
Yeah.
So, I don't. Yeah, I don't.
Do you think, I felt like,
They seem pretty in love, I have to say.
Yeah,
but there you go. Kim and Croy seemed pretty in love, too.
right?
So.
That was a shock too.
Yeah.
You talk about Jen Shah a little bit in your book also,
I
where
do.
you're it's kind of like she's great TV, and what kind of went down between her sentencing? You did want to talk to her, and then it never came to fruition.
It never came to fruition. She released a statement that was not really true about what our negotiations were. I can't remember what she said. What she wanted was, I believe, for us to do a series. She wouldn't do the interview unless we did a series leading up to her going to jail and following her, which we kind of felt like we had seen. And also what I wanted was answers. I wanted her to, she had lied to me. She had lied to all of her friends. She had lied to everyone. So I wanted to talk to her about what really happened. And she didn't want to. So there you go. Yeah. I mean, maybe Howie Mandel would have given her a more safe space, you know.
What was your reaction when you saw Tom Sandoval was going on Howie Mandel's podcast?
I just thought it was just so surreal. I was like, what? But also I figured, and I surmised the next day, I said they must have a deal where I knew that Howie Mandel's niece or daughter's spouse was a bandmate of Tom.
I knew what the connection was.
Yeah. So I just figured, okay, well, look, by the way, I had already sat down with Tom and did the confrontational interview with him. Yeah. So I figured, okay, he clearly has a deal with him where this is going to be a friendly space. And there was a part of me that just thought, okay, I was annoyed, but I also thought, okay, go do this, because I just didn't see it landing well. And I certainly didn't see him coming to the clubhouse landing well either. I wanted the reunion to speak for itself.
Yeah. Did you watch that interview with Howie and notice any differences between stories he told on the reunion?
I didn't watch it, to tell you the truth. I saw a couple clips. I didn't watch it.
I was wondering if his story matches up, because I do feel like it has changed multiple times. Now,
it's evolved.
Yeah.
I think it's evolved, and you're going to hear more at the reunion on that score.
Yeah, and we saw that he admitted that he cheated before.
Yes.
Does that come out on the reunion?
Yeah.
The Summer House season also is just wrapping up. We're getting that reunion soon. How did you feel about the end of, I feel like a lot of these seasons across the board had like end of relationships or friendships. Like,
well,
things
watch
like
the reunion for that.
Okay, for Lindsay and Danielle.
Yes, there's much to report about the two of them at the reunion.
Okay.
And I think that I'm not an EP of Summer House. I have nothing to do with it except as a fan. But I think that I think there's a good plan in place for next season, and I'm excited about that. And I'm very excited about Summer House Martha's Vineyard. I don't know if you've seen that show.
I've watched the first episode.
Yeah, it's really good. And we're having some of those folks in the clubhouse. And I'm excited about that show.
I'm a Martha's Vineyard
they
gal.
nailed it.
So
yeah,
I'm excited.
That's awesome.
Cool.
And I think, of course,
very attractive cast.
We get attached to the OG shows and the cast, but it's fun to change it up every once in a while.
Well, it is, and that's a familiar format, but with different people, and it just makes sense all the way around.
Yeah, definitely.
That's exciting.
We have a little game. We want to do a little Would You Rather Bravo edition.
Great.
So, Rhea, you want to kick it off with the first one?
I shall. All right, first one. Would you rather officiate Carl and Lindsay's wedding or Craig and Paige's wedding?
Hypothetical. For
hypothetical,
Paige and
because we don't.
Oh
And we love Craig and Paige.
It depends where they are. I mean... Well, that's really
you
hard.
offered Craig. You offered Carl and Lindsay.
I did in the book. Yeah. I did. There's so much Bravo gossip in the book. Yeah. I would say, okay, I'm going to go by seniority. I've known Craig longer.
Okay.
So I'm going to say Craig because I've known him longer.
Okay.
Okay.
We're big Craig fans.
You want me to do the next one? Okay. If you had to pick, would you rather have Teresa continue on Real Housewives of New Jersey or Melissa continue on Real Housewives of New Jersey?
Keep watching.
Oh.
Ooh. All right. Seems like we get an answer to that.
Yeah.
Would you rather be stuck on an elevator with Raquel or Tom Sandoval?
Oh, wow. I think Sandoval. Again, I've known him longer. St. Louis.
Yeah.
More to talk about.
At least you can talk about baseball while you're stuck in that elevator.
Seriously.
And maybe you can really get to the root of things if you got stuck on an elevator with him.
Yeah, for sure.
Would you rather completely revamp and recast Summer House in the Hamptons or Southern Charm?
I wouldn't want to recast either of them. I think they're both
You think they're
great.
good? There's been a lot of complaints, not complaints, but people think Summer House, and I know you've had podcasters and Bravo fans on your show talk about that.
That's why
Summer
I say
House has gone a little
plan in
stale.
place, and I think it's it's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you rather resurrect and erase all the problems between Tom Schwartz and Katie or Tom Sandoval and Ariana? Which couple would you rather still have
I don't
intact?
want to see either of those couples back together because they were both not meant to be.
Yeah.
Even if everything erased?
Yes.
Just
I do kind of agree
and
with
you know
that.
what? I think
I
when
mean,
you go
maybe
back
early Sandoval and Ariana, they were so in love. They were fresh. It was sweet. It was very sweet. I loved it that he called her Dumpling.
Yeah.
But you know, Katie and Schwartz just seemed like they were fighting from the start.
Yeah. If you go back and watch the episodes now, it's like,
it's
how
bad.
did they get married?
It's crazy.
Would you rather bring back Lisa Rinna or Lisa Vanderpump to Beverly Hills?
Oh, that's a good question. Wow. You know, it's hard because they both give something different. Oh, I mean, I can see universes for both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think Vanderpump ever would come back. She's hung up on, I mean, you know, part of the thing that makes Housewives work is their ability to forgive people for things and move forward.
Yeah.
And Vanderpump just isn't willing to, you know, get over certain things that in my mind are kind of,
It's crazy.
She can get them over.
Can't get over
other people.
Puppygate.
Yeah, exactly.
She can forgive other people, like for
you're
Tom and Ariana, but
Yes,
for
wow,
herself.
that's an interesting point.
That is tough. But no, there's been a lot of
Now with
questions with
Rinna,
that.
do you see a future where she comes back? She's on pause right now.
I hope so.
She quit
I
and
hope
then
so.
took it back.
I hope so. I think she says she's done.
Yeah.
And I totally respect that. And, you know, I would love, you know, in a couple of years to
Yeah.
I always I'm a big soap opera fan, so I always love it when favorite characters from the past.
You touch on it a little in the book, but now when the family dynamics come into play,
that's
is
when it
that
gets
hard
tough.
for you?
And I think that's
with
why,
the Hilton, with Kathy and Kyle.
I was sitting there at that reunion.
Yeah.
There's a lot of backstage stuff from Beverly Hills in the
Yeah.
book, and I was sitting there at the reunion, and Kyle and Kathy were in such disarray, and Rinna was there, just shooting daggers at Kathy, the two of them going at each other. And I remember Garcelle looking at me like, what is going on right now? Like, this is too upsetting for words. And it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different when friends are fighting, but when family, you're like, they are blood.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Outside of the Bravo world, you talk about plenty of your famous friends.
Yep.
John Mayer being a big one.
Mayer is in. I mean, if you're a John Mayer fan, I would say this.
Our producer
book,
is the number one fan.
Well, I would say this book is for you, dude, because there's so much Mayer stuff in the book. I mean,
how was it having him do the Walk of the Star for you, Walk of Fame?
It was unbelievable. I will say one thing about John Mayer. He is the most loyal friend that you can't believe. I just am stunned by his loyalty, his kindness towards me, the texts I get from him appreciating our friendship. On last Saturday, I was on my book tour. I FaceTimed him. I was in Boston. I was feeling a certain way. He goes, hey, what's up? I go, you know what? I just need a friend right now. I need you. We had a 15-minute chat. And by the end, I was full of happiness. I was like, thank you. This was what I needed. So the Hollywood Star, I had Rinna and Garcelle spoke. They spoke representing the housewives. And then John Mayer spoke. And it's on YouTube. I am not ashamed to tell you that when I've been down, I have put it on because
it's a great pump up.
For me, it was like being at my own funeral in a weird way, and seeing if John Mayer got up to eulogize me at my funeral. That's what it felt like. He took such care. He's such a great writer, as we all know, of music. But that speech blew me away.
That was kind of like when I saw Christina Applegate's star and Linda Cardellini spoke. And that brought me to tears because I was like, I'm so happy she's getting to hear this before, because she's sick. And I'm like, the fact that she gets to hear her friend talk about this right now.
Absolutely.
But with John, that is so awesome. You guys have that friendship. And I think when you get to hear him speak, besides his music, that's fascinating and fantastic. I was such a big fan of Current Mood, the show that he did on Instagram, because it was like Sunday night, you're going into the week, and you just get this pick me up. Yeah. I was very sad when it ended, but I was like, well, you like get in a trance when he's talking to you.
100%. He's a great linguist.
He is. Yep. To wrap it up, of course, it's called The Daddy Diaries. So how your son Ben just has these incredible, I feel like, one-liners, even just the stuff you post on your Instagram where you're like, I can't eat the last bite of your food. And you can just hear him in the back. It's so entertaining. But kids, I feel like you could probably write a whole book of just things that he says.
For sure. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, he's so funny, and he's I try to pepper this with funny stuff between the two of us. And there was a moment where this summer that stands out, where I have a music channel on Sirius XM. I have a talk channel, Radio Andy, and a music channel that I program called Andy's Kiki Lounge. And I play the Kiki Lounge all the time at home. And this summer I had it on at the pool all summer long. And I keep saying, hey, this is Andy and this is my Kiki Lounge. One day he turned to me, he goes, are you Andy Cohen? I said, yeah. And I kind of laughed, and he started, and then he would be like, come on, Andy Cohen. Come on. We were at the playground one day, and some dad said, what's your name? He said,
my favorite.
I'm Ben. He goes, that's Andy Cohen.
I think that was
so
my
funny.
favorite story of in the book of that is so funny. Like, I'm Ben. That's Andy Cohen.
So funny.
It's not even like that. That's Dad. That's
it's a tagline.
Yeah,
and that's Andy Cohen.
Exactly.
which is so good. Yeah. I had one final thing I wanted to. You kind of have like a back and forth with Howard Stern.
I do, yeah.
What is that current situation like?
It's interesting. There's been new developments because I was in Miami helping Sirius open up new studios there, and I had John Bon Jovi on my show. Howard was also there. And Howard brought John Bon Jovi into his studio while I was live on the air waiting for John Bon Jovi, and I got pissed about it. And Howard called and apologized to me that night and was like, I feel bad and all this stuff. And I feel okay talking about it because he talked about it on his show. But I feel like we're good.
Currently good.
But yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting back and forth, and that plays out through the book as well.
It's like kind of like, does he like me? Does he not?
I know, yeah. I can't figure it out.
Kind of big that he called. Usually some
Major.
people would just
Couldn't
go on,
believe
talk
it.
shit, and then go on with their day.
Could not believe it.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Well,
thanks for reading the book.
I loved it. Yeah, we're talking about it. It's great. And honestly, like getting that day in the it made me want to write down what I'm doing because sometimes
Diary
you think
format's
back,
really fun.
It's really like we do so many cool things and then we forget about.
I had
them.
one when I first started. We worked in another office, still at Barstool, and I started as an intern back in 2016. And I would write down what would happen to me every day.
Yes.
And then we moved offices, and I lost it. And I'm like, somebody out there
start again
is
because
reading.
you're
It really did
also
make me want to start again
at some point in the future.
Yep.
My first book is called Most Talkative, and I had written a diary my first year at CBS News, and when I was probably your age, and I was so grateful that I had it because there were details in there that I never would have remembered in a million years. So do it.
Exactly.
You always think it's too late, but it's not.
I know,
It really made me want to go back and do that. So, Andy, thank you so much.
Thank you so
This was so
much.
great. Hopefully, you get through this post-publication period. Nobody gets too angry.
Nobody gets hurt.
By the way, I doubt Teresa read the book. I feel like she just got
That
told
was
she
a question.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Everyone
much,
can
and everybody
get the Daddy
go get
Diaries.
the Daddy Diaries.
Anywhere you read books, you do Audible. Can you listen
do,
to it?
yes, you
Perfect.
can.
I feel like people who love listening to your voice, that's the right choice.
Yep.
Thank you.
Anywhere you get books. Thanks, Andy.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.